just want to earn those 7,000. Just don't give a tinker's damn.
Yeah, I mean, the hope is that we can find a way to make a lot of them really care and really get involved. Because where we are right now, we're headed down a slippery slope. There's no easy answers, but there are simple answers. And the simple answer is we have to control the growth and spending of government. There is no way, and this is true at every level. I'm not solely talking about federal. I'm not solely talking about state, and I'm including county in all this. We cannot continue to spend and grow the way we have been spending and growing. It all starts there. And then there are lots and lots of other issues that come in right after that, but it has to start there. Other questions?
Can you elaborate a little bit on that $6 million difference in the county supervisor's budget? Because there's a disagreement about whether truly the budget is balanced or not.
Well, yeah, we can disagree on the semantics of whether it's balanced or not. What I don't believe anybody can disagree with is we very clearly, Loris, have $34.7 million in revenues coming in, and we very clearly have $40.2 million in expenses going out. Now, what we do have is we've got 11.9, Mary, 11 million and some change in a reserve fund that is going to $6 million based on this budget. And so they're able to balance the budget by dipping into our reserve funds. But this is par for the course. I mean, this is the kind of budget that we have put forward every year. And those of you that, Morris, I'll just ask you in running your business, is it reasonable for you to put forth a budget that says, okay, I'm going to bring in X number of dollars, and I'm going to spend X number of dollars plus 10 and do it long term? But that's what we're doing at a government level, and that I don't believe anybody can argue with. We can argue about the semantics of whether that is truly a balanced budget or not. For me, it's simple enough. When you spend more than you bring in, that is not balanced. Now, there may be a different way to define it, but that's my view.
How much of that is entitlements and social justice spending?
Really depends on your definition. We're about $9 million in mental health. Is that right, Mary?
About 23% of the budget.
About 23% of the budget, I would think, goes to CLP. A lot of that is mandated services from the state. A lot of it's not. Other questions?
Rick, my question would be, is there an opportunity, if you're elected, to get Story County more transparent? Instead of these Tuesday morning meetings, more like what City Council does in Ames, where they have community meetings where the public can attend and hearings can be held, and we can actually participate. Because the normal business man or woman obviously can't come to a lot of Tuesday morning meetings in the back of a room with 4 chairs.
I think that's a must. My personal belief, having watched very, very closely and gone to most of the supervisor meetings in all of 2008 and now doing it again in 2010. I took a year off there in 2009 when I didn't go to me. I believe that somewhere along the line there was an intentional decision to say, well, it's easier for us as supervisors and the staff of the county if we do it at 9:30 on Tuesday. And you know what? Nobody's ever going to come anyway because we tried it once. We went nighttime. We came over to Ames once, and nobody came. And since nobody came, let's go ahead and have it when it's most convenient for us. And I'd tell you that I think just the opposite is true. I don't think it's nearly as important how many people come as it is how many people can come if they choose to. I feel the same way about videotaping it, by the way, and putting it on the internet. It's not nearly as important how many people watch it. What's important is how many people could watch it, how many people could go back and look at it. And as far as the openness and transparency, this idea that there was conversation that now is impacting the county budget. It's not a big number. It's $2,100 and some change. Looks like it's going to end up being $10,000, this whole expenditure from the sheriff. I mean, when you're talking about Mary, it's about a $7 million budget from the sheriff. Yeah. You know, it's not big in the scheme of things, but it shows you in a microcosm exactly what's going on. The fact that there's no minutes kept from this conversation of what this grant was going to be and what, if anything, the county was going to have to kick in, to me, points to a much larger problem. And it points to what we've got to get to with openness and transparency. I will tell you right now that I would absolutely advocate and support 2 things in terms of meeting time. One, move it to a time where more citizens can attend if they so choose. And secondly, once a month, take it on the road and go to each community There was just a great meeting Tuesday night, a joint meeting between Roland and Story City. They brought in both city councils. They brought in the school board that serves both areas. They brought in the economic development from both places. And Jane Halliburton, one of our supervisors who's retiring this year, was also there. That was exactly the way I believe we need to operate. And we need to do it in each one of our communities, because ultimately the Board of Supervisors serves the entire county and should be that umbrella under which everything else is able to operate. It does not supersede or take the place of city government. Ames is still the primary body for the city of Ames. But the county has some responsibility, should absolutely have some role, and make sure that they're assisting wherever possible. Because frankly, what's good for any one part of our county has to be good for all of our county. Other questions? Yes, sir.
You mentioned economic development. I wasn't even aware that county supervisors were involved in economic development.
You're correct, they're not.
From a theoretical point of view, why should the county be looking at this when you've got cities and economic development corporations scattered about that want to develop their areas? I assume the county has some regulatory roles. What would be the ideal role of county board of supervisors for economic development?
Two things that I can see. One, the question is, what would be the role of the county? What's the necessity of the county being involved in economic development? I believe two things. First thing I'll point to is the ethanol plant that's over there. It's in Nevada now, but if you look at the way they have to draw Nevada in order to get it in, it's kind of interesting. They came to the county supervisors and they said, we would love to build this ethanol plant. We'd love to be part of the county, but we need some infrastructure help. We need to figure out how we're going to handle the water. We need to figure out some of the road issues that are going to be before us. This all lies in the county. What can you do for us? And the supervisors at that time said, we'll be glad to give you a letter of support. We'll be glad to give you a letter of support. So they went to the city of Nevada, and Nevada did the math and said, boy, this is going to help our tax base. We're going to invest a little bit here and here and here. We're going to redraw the boundaries of Nevada, and all of a sudden our tax base goes up. I believe there are certain industries that belong not in an incorporated area. I think they see that they don't. I think the county can play a direct role in those. But in terms of assisting any one of our communities in building the infrastructure and doing the things they need to do to draw business, again, I go back to, if it's good for Huxley, if it's good for Ames, if it's good for Zering, then it is also good for Story County, and Story County has some role in that. Whether it is financial contribution or infrastructure or just supporting the process and making sure that you don't get bogged down in the planning and zoning regulations that are like this, the county, I believe, has a role in every one of those, and I think it assists all of us as taxpayers if the county does play that role and help to grow that tax base. So I hope that answers your question, Ryan.